My name is Michael Pashut and I'm the proud owner of Change Cars and the host of the TV show All Things Motoring. I'm even prouder to work with Alan Rosenmeyer of Motor Matters, your #1 review specialist for all things new. If you are looking for a new or used car, if you're looking for advice, visit changecars.co.za and I promise you, you will get the best advice from the best dealers in South Africa.
Toyota's RAV4 has been around for quite a while, and in fact it was one of the first of the generation of family SUV, soft roader, etc., going back quite a while and a number of generations. Now, the one we got here, let's start by showing you, of course, in modern talk, the blue tinge around the Toyota badge. Yes, it's a hybrid. You know what that blue tinge means these days. But the latest generation has grown, as cars tend to do with every generation these days. But this is the top of the line VX model as well, which does make a difference. So you can see it's very neat looking, got the skid plate at the front. You've got, of course, the modern, newer slimline headlights, projection headlights with daytime running lights. But it is familiar, and I did test a very similar looking one probably 2 years ago. Also the hybrid, but the difference was that was the 1.8 hybrid. This one has the 2.5 litre 4-cylinder engine under the bonnet. Big difference. You've got very substantial cladding around the wheel arches, of course, under the doors, etc. Nice looking alloy wheels, they're 18 inches as well. But you've got quite a nice highish profile, quite a bit of rubber. And that, I think, comes into its own when you're on the road, especially on a freeway, and you'll notice the very smooth and comfortable ride that this car does provide. You've got things like door locking just at the touch like that of your hand, and to unlock it again, there you go. So let's have a look. The back, of course it didn't unlock all the doors for me. But there you go. We're going to now take a look in the back seat and have a look over here. When I've opened the door for you, and you'll see a couple of points. You've got aircon vents in the center there, and you've got 2 USBs down below. So that's really a good feature to have as well. Now let me jump in the back seat, and the driver's seat is always set for me. That is substantial legroom. It really is. Headroom, absolutely tons of headroom here with my hat on. And because it is the top model, you of course get the full leather treatment, which is useful. And on this model, you get that interesting striping effect on the seats, both front and rear. The sporty touch, they'll tell you it is. Well, it's up to you whether you like it or not. You come round to the rear of the car and have a look over here. Very interesting tail lights, of course, they are LED, etc. Into the air, which you've into the rear hatch as well. You've got all of these sort of features and a very big spoiler over the top of the rear hatch. A little bit surprised at the fact that it's not a powered tailgate on this car, but that's the way Toyota have spec'd it. Now let's have a look at the boot. Very low, level load sill, you notice that, so you don't have to heft your cases over. That's always a big feature to me as well, and makes it easier for me to jump in and out as well, doesn't it? If you take that out as well, this is pretty much a 1.5 Allen boot, I'd say. Don't think it's quite going to rate as a 2 Allen boot, but it is a nice size. I'm not going to complain about that. And of course, you know you can drop the rear seats 2/3, 1/3. I don't even have to tell you that. You've got a solid board over here, which comes in parts, and kudos Toyota, a full-size spare wheel. Well done. On a car that wants to have some aspiration to be able to at least go on dirt roads or something like that, I love the fact you've put a full-size spare wheel in there. Thanks for that, Toyota. Close it, and as I told you, it is the hybrid model. That 2.5 litre 4-cylinder engine puts out 163 kilowatts and 220 newton meters of torque, plus E, as Toyota put it. I don't quite understand. And it goes to all four wheels through a CVT automatic gearbox. Let's see it on the road. Let's have a look at the inside. Well, the opportunity to take a car and head out into the country, you should know that that is a Motometta's speciality. And it's something that nobody can ever stop me doing or take away from me in any way whatsoever. This RAV4 hybrid is smooth, it's comfortable. Of course, the hybrid engine just creates the most unbelievable fuel economy. And if I tell you that including this trip and some town driving, we've averaged we're sitting on 5.8 litres per 100. It's almost ridiculously light on fuel. Let me put it that way. But it's not that, it's this opportunity to get out to the country that I love. And if you have a look and you have it, check this out and see the kind of road we're on now. I mean, what more could you ask for than just being out and enjoying a cruise, enjoying country air, enjoying the freshness of the country and everything else that goes with it while I can, and just because we can. And I think that's the crux of the entire matter, quite honestly. One of the things, of course, is EV mode on the car. Now, what do I mean by EV mode? We're in EV mode right now. And in fact, next to the gear lever is a button, which I'm going to press now, which should lock us in EV mode. Obviously, it'll only lock you in EV mode up to about 45, 50 kilometers an hour. But what I'm thinking here, and my logic for this right now, see, I exceeded the speed range already. Oh, well, okay. But I'm still in EV. I hope you can hear. Of course, there's no engine noise. But can you imagine the school run in the morning? Bumper to bumper traffic. And you stay in EV mode. And that is, of course, the joy and the beauty of this powertrain. The idea being, use the EV mode as much as you can. What I really, really do enjoy and like is the fact it's not a plug-in. Because unless you've got a wall box at home, you know what I think of plug-in EVs. Okay, now look at the screen over here. I've got to show it to you quickly. Much bigger, color display, crisp. It's got your lines. The lines it's the moving active lines as well for reversing. So you've really got the features you want on that over there. Another feature this car's got that a lot of the Toyotas of late haven't had is the proper color screen with built-in navigation, not only when you're using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. But now I've gone out of EV mode again. Of course, it switches in and out. But even when you're in petrol mode in this car, I've just found it very quiet, very smooth, and that's whether it's in suburbia like I am now, or whether you'll see the segment in this video when we're on the open road. And it doesn't seem to make any difference. I'm not quite sure what Toyota have done with this particular RAV, but they have certainly made it smoother, quieter, and a lot more comfortable in my book. The last RAV I drove was quite a while ago. It was the first hybrid, which had the 1.8 engine, not this 2.5 that we've got now. And that made such a big difference as well. It really did. I've just stopped for a while because let's have a look at a few of the features on the car. You've got cruise control and everything else on the steering wheel, but I'm a little bit surprised by the fact that you don't have active cruise control. But anyway, maybe I'm moaning too much, I don't know. But you've got all the safety spec in the world. I've averaged, can you believe, I think this is incredible, for the whole test period, and that's urban driving and a cruise out to Paris, 5.8 litres per 100. It's dropped to 5.7 once or twice, but it's sat at the 5.8 mark. And I think that is a really, really good consumption for a car of this sort of size. I've shown you the screen over here. You've got your dual zone climate control with proper buttons and knobs. Thank you for that, Toyota. And then below, heating and ventilation or cooling for both front seats, driver and passenger. Again, really nice to have. And then below that, you've got your inductive charging pad and one USB 12 volt up front. Now, obviously, that USB is for Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You've got two USBs under the armrest as well. that nice armrest over there. So you've got those two as well. Coming over here, you've got, it is the CVT gearbox. The only time I felt the CVT strained a little bit was when you're trying to sustain 120 on a freeway and you hit an uphill. You did get a little bit of CVT whine. Other than that, nothing at all. Electronic parking brake, hill hold, the EV mode button over there, all those are there. You've got a button over here, which I didn't actually touch on this test, but eco, normal and sport mode. I left it in normal and I got that consumption, which I think is exceptional. There's the sport mode, because remembering this car puts out 163 kilowatts and 221 newton meters of torque, as they say 221 plus electric. Toyota don't quote that figure, but that's the combined figure. It's a lot of power, a lot of torque in this car. But I've got to say, even though there's a sport mode, my take on this car is it's a cruiser. It really is, and it does that job so well. Plenty of space in the back. I'll show it. You'll have seen it already. Interesting striping on the seats. And I've got to comment now. I always talk about the red on all the cars when they want to make it the sport mode or the sport model. This one's got orange. Well, that's what it comes with. But if you see the quality, the fit, the finish, it is a Toyota. You know it's a Toyota, and it proves over and over again to you it is a Toyota. And it really does the job nicely. And it really is nice and solid. That's the petrol engine kicking in because I've just left the car idling. So there you hear it kick in after a while. It kicks in and out. I can't quite predict or explain to you how it does that. But what I can tell you is, and this is a personal opinion, a regenerative hybrid like this, to me, for South African conditions right now, with charging, having to go, unless you have a wall box at home, this works for me. We've done 550 kilometers on this test already. There's still 120 in the tank. So you've got a 650 plus kilometer range in the car. You know what I'm talking, where I'm going with range. You've got all of that. You've got the power. You've got a 2.5 litre engine. The previous hybrid I drove was the 1.8 version, interestingly, and that was a little bit pop compared to this. Also wasn't the all-wheel drive. So you understand the differences. This particular model costs you 809,000 Rand right now. You can get into a RAV4 with a 2-litre petrol engine from 678, and there is the lowest spec 2.5 hybrid version like this available for 719,000 Rand. But you don't get the all-wheel drive, you don't get some of the spec. You know what it's like, you know what the story. You do get a 6-service, 90,000 kilometer service plan thrown in. At the end of the day, the choice is always yours. But I do feel personally, and I'm sticking my neck out a little bit, I do like the Toyota hybrid system. You're in this kind of market, check it out for yourself. You're going to find it difficult, barring 1 or 2 diesel models, to equal or better this kind of fuel consumption. That's for sure. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. See you next time.